Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today I'll be talking about something small. So if you like small things, continue to watch on the video. So this is the ugly truth about one bedroom investment in the core central region. Why I would like to bring this up? Because there is a lot of new launches coming out in the core central region, and I wanted to share my experience as an agent for the past 11 years. And story time. I'd just like to show you this picture first of this condo, and its name is called Ken Hill 9. So for those that do not know, Ken Hill 9 is in a wonderful location. It is just beside Paragon Mall with a link bridge that operates for the residents, and it is between two MRT lines in one of the most centrally located area in Singapore. And one of it is Orchard MRT and the other is Somerset MRT. Why I bring this up is because I'm managing about 40 units of rental for this project itself. And the rental is fantastic. Averagely, one bedroom is around 4,000 to 4,005. One plus study is around 5,005 to 6,000. And for the two bedroom, it ranges from 8,000 all the way to 9,000. And if you were to look at the gross rental yield, right, it will be 3.7%, 3.7%, and 3.6% respectively for each of the unit type. So this condo itself, because of the location, right, a lot of expats love to stay in it because of the convenience, and especially Japanese. I don't know why out of my 40 rental, 30 of them, close to 30 of them are Japanese corporate tenants, and I don't have an issue finding tenants in the area itself. So if everything is so good, right, why would it be a nightmare then? Because it is always not an issue now, but the issue is in the future when you cannot cash out. Or you can, just that you don't earn as much money. My point into perspective, I actually draw out 3 case studies from 3 different clients out of the 40 which I'm handling to share with you my personal experience. So the first one actually did manage to cash out. And if you were to see, it's actually a 1 bedroom at 592 square feet. And the first thing you will notice is she bought it at 2016. The unit was sold around 2023, 2024, and she only made a profit of $86,000. So it's not fantastic for a 6 years period, and if you were to annualize it, I think it's less than 1% for a property. That is very underwhelming. But the second thing which I would like to bring your attention to is the number of days it was on the market. It's close to 18 months for the property. So one might argue that I am not a very good agent when it comes to selling property in the core central region. But the other angle is, or the other school of thought argument is, there's just no demand for small units in the core central region. Which brings me to my next client. Unit is still not sold, it's still on the market. Okay, first thing is, look at the date I created this listing. This was 2022. And fast forward now is June 2025. It has been 3 years. Mind you, 3 years is a very long time. Did the property not make money? The property did make money. My owner only bought it close to 1.8 million, and valuation for the property now is at $2 million. But there's just not much inquiry for the property itself. Then again, one might argue that I'm a lousy agent, I cannot sell the property. But if you were to look at the past transaction for a 1+ study over there, right, they were only transacted at 1.85 million. Why so? Because of the lack of demand and sellers they are trying to sell on the market. They realize selling at valuation will not bring the demand in. They would have to lower their prices. So even though the valuation went up, the profit goes up, it is not actual cash in your pocket until you can sell the property. So this is the second client which I have an issue with selling the property, and it has been close to 3 years, more than 3 years now, and I'm still trying to sell it to potential buyers. Then again, it's tenanted so my client is not in a rush to sell, and the tenancy is fantastic, but it's just a matter of when he will be able to sell it at the price that he wants. For my third client, she actually bought a 1 bedroom at a premium pricing for a better facing and higher floor unit. And if you were to see, right, she bought it at 1.553 million. If you were to reference it back to the first client that I mentioned earlier on in the video, she only sold it at 1.522 million. So the price that my client sold on a lower floor is actually the price that my third client bought from the developer. And this caused several issues for her because, firstly, the price that she wants to sell for a profit, even for a small profit at maybe 1.7 million, is it achievable when the past transactions can't support what she's about to ask for? And secondly, there are so many other listings on the property platform that are advertising at her purchase price or close to her purchase price. What are the chances of her making a profit if she were to list at 1.7 or 1.8 million, or will there be demand for it? Not saying that it's not possible, but it will just take a very, very long time for this to happen. But luckily for this client, she don't have any urgency to sell. She don't need to use her name like my first client to buy another property. So the renter is able to give her some passive income in a sense lah. But there will come a day where she realized that, oh, I need to cash out from the property, and that's where she will have difficulty like my first client or my second client, because of the lack of demand in the core central region for smaller unit types. So those are just three of the many clients which I'm serving in the core central region. And let's deep dive into why it is so hard for them to sell or profit in the resale market. If you were just to look at CanQ9, the chart breakdown, right, there's only 25 resale transactions over the past 6 years. And if you were to average it out, right, it's around 3 to 4 transactions per year. And per quarter, we are only selling 1 unit. Do you know how pathetic that is for a resale condo? One. If there are not many transactions, the valuation will not go up. So if the valuation don't go up, how do you make money? Okay, why so? Why so? Because to own a 1 bedroom at 1.5 or 1 plus study at 2 million, this is how much you need to be earning per month. 9,200 and 12,300. And what are the profile of people buying? Investor, that's number one. And number two will be singles. Couple with no kids, highly unlikely, because irregardless, they will still need the space of a 2 bedroom or 3 bedroom minimally, and they can easily with 1.5 or 2 million find more properties out there in the RCR or OCR area, and some of it might even be freehold. And to put things into perspective, our household combined income, husband and wife, the median is only 11,000. Do you see how hard it is to afford a 1 bedroom as a single in this area? Not saying that it's unlikely, just that the possibility is low. If you were to reference back to my first client, the person that I sold the unit to is actually a single lady in her 40s, and she's a high flyer earning very good income, I would say, compared to her peers, and she liked the convenience of staying in Orchard. That is why she bought it, the unit at CanQ9. But when she buy, she also have many other options, not just CanQ9, because there's like properties like OUA Twin Peak, Scotts Tower, House on Handy, which she can choose from. So this is why, based on affordability and purchase standpoint, the criteria to enter for a single is so high that makes the demand so low. And secondly, it is because properties in the core central region, they are more vulnerable to global market shift and cooling measure. Why do I say so? If you just look at the buyer profile by residential area, look at the number of foreigners and company buying into CanQ9. It's almost close to 40%. And because demand for this high-end property usually comes from foreign buyers or foreign investors, the shift in ABSD, right, from 30% to 60%, right, is a killer. If you can't sell to foreigners, right, what is the local demand buying from you? And if a local want to fork out money to buy from you, right, for 2 million property, right, they need to pay 1.2 million in ABSD. And on top of that, there's still the normal buyer stamp duty. So all in all, right, to buy a 2 million property, right, it will cost them around 3.3 million. Do you think it makes sense for a foreigner to invest? And even if some Cai Tao come along and really want to buy at 2 million, how many of these Cai Tao are there in the market? While Prime District looks glamorous, they are not always the safest bet for long-term stability. And the thing to take note is, not that I have no viewings, I do show viewings to many singles that are looking for their own place today to stay. And the argument that we always have, or rather the discussion that we always have back and forth, is for 1.5 million, I can actually afford to buy a 2-bedroom resale or 3-bedroom resale in the OCR or RCR area, and the cost of living there is much lower. Even though one might argue that the convenience that Orchard give is unparalleled, means you can't find anywhere. But then again, Singapore is so small. How much traveling can you do in a day, right? So, which is a very valid point which they raised to me, and that always make them reconsider when they are looking to buy a 1 bedroom at 1.5 or $2 million, because there's just so much alternative out there which they can choose from. And this leads me to my final point. What if my clients, right, or if you're watching this video and looking to enter into a small 1 bedroom as an investment property in the future, always consider alternative. Because if you look at this what if, right, on the same day of purchase where they bought CanQ9, they could have purchased something in Clement Konopi, which also launched in 2017, and look at the average price growth is 42%. as compared to Ken Q9, which is only I think 3 to 4%. Yeah, and the yearly transaction per year, right, is around 30 to 40 units as compared to Ken Q9. And if we were to break down it even further, right, for your 1.5 million, which you buy as a one bedroom as investment in Ken Q9, you can afford to buy a 3 bedroom in the Clementi area and just compare the appreciation. Okay, something you buy at 1.5 million in the core central region, you are struggling to sell for minimal profit or no profit. Something you buy at the OCR area, you are actually selling it for close to 600,000 in profit. And if you were to buy something like a 1+ study for 1.8 million, right, you can actually buy a 4 bedroom, right, in Clement Canopy at 1.627 million. And they actually earn close to $1 million in profit in the same time span. So before you buy into investment property or whatsoever, right, the most important point which I want to highlight, right, is it easy to sell? Because even if you do not make a profit, at least the chance for you to take your name out is easier, and you could have used your money to invest in some better products or alternatives. If it is very hard to sell, right, is it a good property investment at all? Unless you're looking to stay in it for a long period or a long term lah. But end point, usually when I meet my clients, is always, when you buy this property, do you foresee yourself selling it? And if you really do foresee yourself selling it, buy something that you know that it will be easy to dispose of within the next 2-3 months if your price is right, rather than if your price is right and still no one wants to buy from you. So in conclusion, are small unit types worth investing in the core central region? My short and sweet answer is no, if you're looking for capital appreciation. But if you're looking for rental yield and you intend to stay in the core central region for retirement, by all means, go for it. If not, no, I would not invest in a 1 bedroom unit type in the core central region, just based on the difficulty for me to sell it in the future.